Welcome back to Unlimited Recaps. Today we'll be diving into a sci-fi horror from 2024 titled Alien Romulus. 52 years have passed since the events of The Eighth Passenger and on February 9th, 2145, the tale takes place. The Muir 9000 spacecraft activates following Ripley's victory, allowing the Weyland-Yutani scientists to find the Xenomorph's corpse. Xenomorphs can create a protective shell around themselves even though they appear to be dead. Motivated by ambition, the scientists try to clone the creature, which has horrifying results. Rain and her android brother Andy, who lives nearby in a colony, are struggling to make ends meet. While Rain is processing travel documents, she finds out that a new law mandates an additional 5 to 6 years of service prior to moving. When she finally leaves the office, a bunch of youths are attacking Andy because he is an android, which enrages her. Remembering their late father's desire for Andy to shield Rain, she tends to him. As they get back home, Rain's ex-boyfriend Tyler calls. They talk about their desperate need to leave the hazardous mining colony and relocate to Iaga, an agricultural paradise where they can hope for a better life, along with Tyler, his cousin Bjorn, and others. The finding of the ship Romulus adds to the complexity of the situation. They require cryogenic chambers for the 9-year travel to the planet Iaga, as they cannot survive without them. Since there are no such chambers, Tyler and the gang come up with a crazy scheme to sneak inside the Romulus and take the required capsules. Because Bjorn thinks Andy can access the ship's security systems, he insists that Rain and the robot Andy accompany them. Rain hesitates, hurt by Bjorn's disdain for Andy, but Andy accepts. Bjorn keeps making fun of Andy while they get ready, including using a flamethrower to light a cigarette. After arriving at the Romulus, Andy, Tyler, and Bjorn put on spacesuits to shield themselves from the poisonous air. Unaffected by his surroundings, Andy navigates the spacecraft using his programming. They discover it to be empty, and the threat is increased by the unstable gravity. Tyler manages to get the oxygen back, but now they have a new issue. The cryogenic chambers they locate are only meant to last for 3.5 years. To prolong their lives, Tyler suggests robbing the cryogenics room of its fuel. They discover the bottom floor is devastated and come across a partially melted android as they navigate the ship's maze-like passageways. Tyler keeps making jokes about Andy in spite of the danger. Tyler is about to hit him when Andy gently stops him, and they see that the Xenomorph's corrosive poison has left fissures all over the floor. Navarro told Rain on the main ship why Bjorn hated Andy. Bjorn's mother died when an android was compelled to lock her inside due to a mine and gas leak years ago in order to keep others safe. Bjorn's animosity for androids who are ostracized from society outside of specific colonies was heightened by this incident. As all of this was going on, Kay became ill and told Rain that she was expecting. Fearing the vacation might be canceled, she pleaded with Rain not to tell her brother. The group argued as they made their way into the cryogenics chamber. Bedge insisted that they travel to Iaga, where androids like Andy are prohibited as soon as they obtained the capsules. Andy stuck to his goal of keeping Rain safe, even at the cost of his own life. Rain regretted thinking of leaving Andy, whom her father had fixed once. Before he passed away in a mining accident, he had begged Andy to take care of Rain. After locating the cryogenics room, the group started to collect nitrogen but unintentionally let 36 facehuggers go. Navarro and Andy hurried to assist. An inactive android they discovered advised them to finish their task. When they turned it off, they found an organ scanning machine. Using the android's memory was the only method to open the door to the cryogenics room. The facehuggers assaulted Tyler and B as Andy restarted. B unintentionally electrocuted Tyler while frantically trying to save him. Andy restarted in time to save Bjorn from the creature's onslaught, opening the door and letting them escape. But some of the animals got away, and Navarro became infected. They reactivated the android in a desperate attempt to find a solution. The android wakes up and says, "My name is Rook." It tells the story of how the crew discovered a Xenomorph capsule in a frigid, metallic voice. The creature broke free and murdered every person on board because they were so anxious to clone it. Despite losing half of its body due to the alien's acidic blood, Brooke managed to survive by impaling it against some machinery. When Brooke sees how desperate Navarro is, he tells the gang that killing her is the only way to stop the alien from hatching inside of her. Recognizing the circumstances, Andy consents, believing it would save his dear Rain. The others, on the other hand, object and suggest burning the beast and taking it out of Navarro. Although the operation is successful, Brooke cautions that Navarro still has a 60% probability of being sick. Brooke talks with Andy during the group's deliberations, implying that sometimes making sacrifices is required. Andy transforms as a result of this talk. He becomes more aloof and cunning. Rain steps in, asking for moderation when he suggests getting rid of Navarro. Rain tries to delete Brooke's memories in a panic, but Andy intervenes, electrocuting Andy and making off for the main ship. Andy feels bad about what he did and goes after the group as soon as he reactivates. However, Bjorn informs Kay that Andy has lost his mind as they run. Navarro, meanwhile, is in excruciating pain as she realizes the Xenomorph is fully grown inside of her. It explodes violently, knocking Bjorn out in the carnage that follows. As the ship smashes into Romulus Station, the Xenomorph manages to escape into it. Unaware of concealed face huggers, Tyler, Andy, and Rain proceed into the dim hallways in an attempt to stop the Xenomorph. The only way to go across unnoticed, according to Brooke, is to turn up the temperature in the room and move as stealthily as possible. Now that Brooke's memories have affected Andy, stops caring about the safety of the others. K and B discover Navarro's body in the alien cocooned and ready to evolve on the escaped ship. When Bjorn tries to kill it, he gets attacked and ends up dead. Kay calls Tyler out of desperation, warning the face huggers. She passes out as Tyler tries to lead her to safety. In an attempt to neutralize the threat, Andy shuts the Axe's doors, pushing Rain outside. Enraged, Tyler confronts Andy, who continues to believe what he did. Kay is confined with the alien close by when she wakes up. Andy declines her pleas to open the door, saying it's too dangerous. Kay is killed by an alien strike despite Rain and Tyler's pleas for her life. Rage-stricken, Tyler charges Andy with his sister's murder, but Andy says they have to keep going if they want to live. This revised version keeps the main plot points of the original while condensing the story to make it easier to read. They eventually reached the main laboratory, where Brooke used the computers to connect with the group. It spoke in a grave tone, revealing the reality. They had discovered the Xenomorph years before, and after thorough research, they concluded it was the ideal beast. It just killed any living thing that was in its way. It had no need of food or sleep. Every 5 minutes in the meantime, new viruses and illnesses were found by humans, impeding the colony's ability to evolve and causing irreparable harm to each colony over time. The crew of the ship chose to use the alien's blood for an experiment after learning this. After examining it, they found that it had remarkable properties, and they boldly took samples in order to carry on further research. Rats and humans have 25% of the same genetic makeup, hence these animals were first used as test subjects. A terrifying video demonstrated how the scientist murdered a rat, but the animal suddenly recovered and started to walk again after being injected with an alien-derived serum. Then, in an attempt to carry out more research and produce superhumans, Brooke gave Andy the instruction to gather some samples and deliver them to the business. They were unaware of the deadly defects in this serum, though. The rat appeared to regenerate, but the video demonstrated how it eventually underwent uncontrollable evolution until dying. The group discovered that the alien had disguised itself and was waiting for them to leave so it could ambush them as they were attempting to flee the laboratory. Andy advised going a different way in the hopes of saving oneself when faced with this impending threat. With what little they had, Tyler discovered a plasma gun and, taking advantage of the situation, showed Rain how to operate it. All she had to do was aim. The weapon would direct the fire in the direction of their adversaries. They entered a hallway and found the alien's nest, a horrifying location where the Xenomorph bred parasites from dead bodies, allowing new Xenomorphs to be formed even from dead bodies. They made the decision to go back and look for an alternative route, but time was not on their side. Tyler was searching for his sister anxiously when he heard her terrible cries in the distance. Andy was about to give up on them, but after making sure Kay was still alive and uninfected, he made the decision to assist with the rescue. Andy proposed giving Tyler's sister an injection of medication that would hasten her recuperation when Tyler pleaded with the android to heal his sister. Rain, however, suggested that it would be preferable to go back to the ship and put her in a cryogenic chamber, and cautionate chamber and carbo idea. The gang made the decision to carry on with the escape, but shortly they encountered a horrifying revelation: there were over 20 aliens instead of just one. As they were going to flee into the mayhem, one of the Xenomorphs pounced at Rain, attempting to murder her. Tyler bravely intervened and delivered the lethal blow in her place. The Xenomorph pulled him away, and in his final moments, Tyler defied the rest of the hive by attacking them and calling them monsters. The alien opened its jaws and smashed his face with its tongue as soon as he finished speaking. More aliens appeared at that very moment, paralyzing Andy. Rain had to leave him behind and take Kay, and she had no other option. Rain discovered that even with the changes Andy had experienced, she still loved him and regarded him as a brother when they boarded the ship. Kay was instructed to head back to the ship, enter the cryogenic room, and proceed with extreme caution. She gave the modified samples to her with a final hopeful gesture and wished her luck. Rain checked on Kay and then went back down to look for Andy. She needed to help him and reboot him after finding his body, but Andy resisted. He was aware that if Rain destroyed the memories he had grown to have, he would revert to being a mindless automaton without the personality he had grown to possess. Andy had no choice but to accept Rain's assistance and let her erase his other recollection. Andy went back to being the simple android he had been previously, before he developed any sophistication. But the aliens offered them no break and prepared themselves for assault. They attempted to leave by taking a different path out of desperation, but Brooke stopped them and said he could not let them go. If they did, he contended, Kay might not survive, and the scientist's efforts would have been in vain. In an effort to console herself, Rain requested Andy share one of his old jokes with her while they waited for what may be their demise. Though Rain was not amused by Andy's jokes, she took comfort in the thought of passing away with her brother and best friend. Motivated by his statements, Rain devised a scheme to disrupt gravity and take advantage of the opportunity to fire at the Xenomorphs. But as she took out the invaders, her ammunition ran out. Worse, every dead Xenomorph spills acid out of its corpse, making the surroundings even more hazardous. They seized the chance to use the lift to rise since gravity had been turned off, but they had to move quickly because the ship was about to collide with Saturn's rings. As Kay made her way back to the ship, Rook gave her congratulations for making it through. He advised her to make her getaway with the samples and, should she so choose, inject herself with one to treat her wounds. But he also told her that it would be useless to stay because Rain and Andy were already in the hive and it would just take time for them to be discovered and eliminated. Kay chooses to stay in spite of his advice, but she gives herself an injection of one of the serums. When Rain returns, an alien attacks her as she tries to climb, but she is able to defend herself. But as Rain descends, gravity unexpectedly returns, and she misplaces her weapon. She's captured by an alien who appears to be transporting her to the hive so they may infect her. Andy does a brave thing and uses the descending lift to ram the alien to death. Even though he succeeds, Rain still has serious wounds, so Andy grabs her gun and begins firing at the aliens while mockingly calling them pathetic. When they eventually arrive aboard the ship, Rook congratulates them on their escape while expressing a mixture of relief and disdain. He tells them that they would now have to wait a few hours for the experts from Weyland-Yutani to locate them and start investigating the serum. Defiant, Rain replies that she won't comply and that it's best for them to get away while they can. She gives him thanks for everything, but Rook starts cursing them and referring to them as superior, inferior, and disagreeable creatures as soon as he learns of her plans. Sadly, the spacecraft Romulus crashes into a meteor-filled area, resulting in complete devastation and the deaths of all those on board. Rain notices her friend Kay acting suspiciously when she comes to the catastrophe. She chooses to put her in the cryogenic chamber out of concern, and her new mission is to go to Iaga. Andy, ever the cautious one, asks her if she's sure about what she's doing as they get ready to depart on their journey, cautioning her that they could be in big trouble if the government finds out. But Rain doesn't give a damn. They will remain together since they are in this together. Something horrible occurs inside Kay's capsule just as Rain gets ready to enter her own cryogenic cell. Her tummy has become bigger, and it seems like she's in her 9th month of pregnancy. Her injection of serum has caused the fetus to grow more quickly, resulting in a hybrid of a xenomorph and a human. Kay is in agonizing labor and asks Rain to take care of the creature. Rain takes it far away without thinking, but the baby starts spitting acid, rendering Andy unconscious. After grabbing a weapon, Rain heads out to find the creature, only to discover that the capsule is empty. The xenomorph hybrid has vanished. Rain descends to the go area and faces the creature, which is tall and clearly possesses both human and xenomorph characteristics. Kay is appalled and feels nothing but disgust as the monster goes in search of its mother and tries to show her devotion. Sadly, Andy is brutally slain when he tries to stop the thing. The hybrid chooses to kill and eat its mother after realizing that she has rejected it. Rain comes too late, and when she sees the horrifying scene, she has nowhere to go. She has to use all available means to halt the beast. Rain uses a damaged weapon in an attempt to freeze the beast. She is forced to break her weapon, which causes the ship to start freezing along with the beast. Knowing that donning a spacesuit is her only chance of survival, Rain gets outfitted right away. The best course of action, in her opinion, is to tie herself to some cables, disconnect the ship's bottom deck, draw the beast outside, and launch it into space. 4 levers must be pulled in order to complete the plan, but as she prepares to pull the final one, the hybrid attacks, weakening Rain. Rain remembers the creature's birthing capsule, which still contains acid, in a last-ditch attempt. She launches the capsule towards the ship, generating a strong suction that drives the creature out into space. Even though Rain lives, she does one last noble deed when she pulls the last lever, freeing the bottom deck that contains the captive creature. The movie ends with Rain fixing the spacecraft, her hands moving with precision as her mind is bent on one mission, reaching Iaga. As she sees the monster being pulled into the depths of space, she whispers with conviction, "I hope you rot in hell." She looks out into space, but she assures Andy that she will figure out a way to cure him and bring back his essence. She chooses to remove his memories, keeping everything that made him, and put him in cryostasis, where he would stay unconscious until the time of his rebirth. If so, please remember to subscribe, like, and share it in order to see more fantastic movie recaps. I appreciate you watching.